Hello everybody, David Colco, 7th Avenue Wine Liquor Company, Brooklyn, New York. We're trying the Los Vascos Cabernet from Colchagua Valley in Chile. This is a domain Rothschild holding, and so you pretty much, whenever you see that little line at the top of these bottles, you pretty much know that you're going to be getting a quality wine. I think they've got a lot of pride in what they produce, and they're not going to try to crank out stuff that's not worthy. A couple of things. Chile definitely looks to France, I think, for inspiration, if not as a paradigm for most of the wines that they produce. Their Sauvignon Blancs, for instance, I think are quite reminiscent of white Bordeaux, more so than New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. And their Merlots and their Cabernets, I think, are more reminiscent of Bordeaux as well than, let's say, their neighbor Argentina, which is much more of a sort of a New World kind of style. So with these wines, you can expect them to be less on their own kinds of wines, less cocktaily, more food appropriate. Red wine, long life, lower the cholesterol. I should add that this is not a very expensive wine at all. In fact, it's close to a budget level wine. So what we're looking for mostly, instead of complexity, is simple balance among the basic elements of sweet, sour, and bitter. Let's find out. What we do have is, in fact, balance, and the balance is with, I guess, mostly cherry and perhaps blueberry fruit, balanced by supple, persistent tannins, and medium to high acidity. So you have a wine that's definitely more appropriate for the table rather than cocktail hour. And what we would have with a wine such as this, like you would expect with most Cabernet, is beef. It's a quintessential beef dish wine. And because of its price point, I would say have it with a hamburger, or maybe even with a meatloaf, or certainly some kind of a beef stew if you wished. And if you wanted to save some money on your wine purchase if you wanted to save some money, if you were buying an expensive piece of beef and you didn't want to spend a lot of money on a red wine to go with a steak or something like that, and something like this would be just fine. Don't expect a lot of complexity or nobility necessarily, but it would be a good pairing with any kind of red, be it a hamburger or meatloaf, or, as I said, higher cuts of beef steaks. I guess that's about it as far as this wine is concerned. I think it's quite well made, and I highly recommend it. This is the Los Vascos Cabernet Sauvignon. Colchagua Valley, Chile is where it's produced. And it's a 2007 vintage. As you can see, it's Domaine Baron de Rothschild, parenthesis Lafitte, so it's a Rothschild holding. Thank you again for tuning in. David Colco, 7th Avenue Wine Liquor Company in Brooklyn, New York. I'll see you again.